viewers from around the world, happy 2020. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
It's been a long while.
Since last year.
Yes, it's been a very long time. A whole year has gone by. Not really,
Did you
just a
have a
couple
good
days. My Christmas was great. The holidays were great. I worked.
You know what wasn't great? Kings basketball during the holidays.
You are absolutely
Not
right about
good.
that. It was not good. Sean Cunningham, Lina, Washington, if you're just tuning in and joining us. We were talking about that stretch of games here at home. Could have been a good opportunity for the Kings to move up the standings, and that is not what happened. They're riding a 2-game winning streak tonight against the Bucks, but we'll probably see that snapped.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. I think people will be okay with that. They're starting to see a little bit better effort because this first stretch of 10 games and 10 of 12 at home didn't start out well.
Yeah.
You were losing to teams that you, on paper, probably thought you should have beat. And it's made us look at the season like, hey, there are no more winnable games. There are none of those should wins. You just literally have to go out and do it and not take any opponent for granted. And they've been bugged by injuries. That's obvious.
Yep.
We're hopefully going to see all three of them back. They were talking about Fox, Buddy, and Bagley on the floor again, but only 48 minutes. Here we are in January, and they've only played 48 minutes on the floor together. That's alarming.
Yeah, I mean, as Luke Walton has said several times before, every game they've only had their full roster available in the season opener against the Suns, and then after that, Marvin goes down, De'Aaron goes down, Bogey goes down. Now Rashawn Holmes is out for his second game. Harry Giles will be making his second career NBA start, and he was barely seeing minutes in December.
Yeah, a lot of injuries and a lot of ankles.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, as we record this right now on Friday before they play the Milwaukee Bucks, just one of the best teams in the NBA.
The best team in the NBA.
They also have a flu bug going around.
Oh, yes.
Like the whole locker room has been infected by Bogey's cold. Your fault, Bogey.
Joseph also fell ill a little bit, missing practice, I believe.
And Rashawn, who's already mentioned about the shoulder strain that we saw the other night, I believe his second or third game that he's missing tonight, he also had it. So it's even if his shoulder was fine, he'd probably miss time with the sickness.
Well, you know what the craziest thing about this all, Sean?
What, Lina?
Is that the Kings are still just 2 games out of the 8th spot.
That's amazing.
In the Western Conference. And 2 games could quickly grow into 4 if they're not careful, and then that gap could quickly widen.
And I don't know if you're alarmed like I am, and I don't know if even most Kings fans are thinking about this, but typically a team plays better on their home floor. Not the case for the Kings. They're a much better road team. Example, that game in Phoenix, again, coming back from 20 down.
Yes.
You're beat, you're dilapidated, and you come back and sneak out a win. I don't know how that happened. De'Aaron Fox was obviously incredible, but the home court has not served Sacramento well. I don't know why that is, because the crowd has certainly done their part. The crowds there have been absolutely fantastic. They've shown some emotion. They've shown some displeasure at this team, as they should. And I think you have the second most home games the rest of the way. So you would think, look, there's room to get better. There's room to get right. And obviously, look, you get a couple pieces back. You get, a healthy Marvin Bagley.
Yes.
Bogdanovic gets on there. Anything can change. You've kept yourself in the conversation. But my concern is you haven't played well at home. Have you already pissed away, for lack of a better term, some of those opportunities?
Yep.
I don't know how. To me, it feels like they have. The West is so top-heavy. Look, 1 through 6 is already solidified.
Sure.
That's not really going to change. 7 is probably solidified. 8 is wide open for the taking, but 7, it seems like half the league is involved.
Yes, so it's going to be crucial for the Kings to lock in, and they have found a way to win games shorthanded throughout the season, but as you mentioned, they've lost a lot of winnable games, getting swept by the Hornets, losing to the Grizzlies. Things like that have cost them in the long run. When we look at the records in March, even in a couple weeks when the trade deadline comes up, this team can look a whole lot different, and as we saw last year, that changed the whole dynamic, the whole progression of this team that was in the playoff chase at that point. So it should be very interesting to see what kind of transpires. Already the Kings are in the rumor mill with the Lakers and Kyle Kuzma's name being thrown out there.
I don't see that one happening. By the way, the Kings and Lakers have never made a trade. In the history of the NBA, as long as the Sacramento Kings have been the Sacramento Kings, there has never been a transaction between the Lakers and the Kings. So I don't see it being with Kyle Kuzma. Bogey is certainly a piece, though, I think that is going to be in the mix of trade discussion, rightfully so. Restricted free agent, but I think the Kings' asking price might be a little bit too high, particularly because of where they feel they sit this summer as a restricted free agent. So they kind of hold all the cards. Bogey's already turned down the extension, rightfully so. He wants to see what plays out. He wants to test the waters. But other guys like Dwayne Dedman, who has gone on record and actually got fined to the tune of 50 G's, demanding a trade out of Sacramento, and all of a sudden, because of injuries, finds himself back in the rotation.
Yep.
And I never thought I'd say this after we saw him play himself out of the rotation. They don't win that game against Phoenix without Dwayne Dedmon.
Absolutely not. And what a turnaround that was, to not see Dwayne Dedmon playing for weeks, and then he becomes a crucial piece in that win in Phoenix.
Yeah, and to that point too. And then it's like, okay, you got Atlanta reportedly interested in his services to bring him back.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, Sacramento gave him a lot of money. He's got a very movable contract in the sense of years. The money is a little bit weird, but from what I've heard, the Kings want a first-round pick for Dwayne Dedmon. I just don't see it.
Well, that's fair. You definitely, for that money, for bringing somebody in on the offseason, you need some kind of return. But do you see the kind of, I guess, shift, the kind of movement that we saw last year? Last year was very active, and that kind of changed the course of this team. So much so that might have led to the firing of Dave Yeager. But do you see as much activity come February?
Yeah, I do, just because of how many teams that are hovering around that 8th seed that some of them should probably start selling. New Orleans is one of them. They should probably start selling some of their pieces.
Sure.
Let Zion Williamson rest, or even let him come out and play. But look, you're not contending for the playoff spot. That's going to be what it is.
Right.
The Kings should be one of those teams, because of the playoff absence, that probably should be sellers. My only concern, playing the cynic that I am,
the Sacramento Kings fan that you are.
Look, this hasn't gone well. You could argue that the Kings haven't drafted that well. You could argue that this offseason wasn't great for Kings acquisitions. Mm-hmm. Do you allow Vlade to be aggressive and make some sort of move to push for the playoffs? I don't know. I'm not so sure there. I think if there's going to be a really long, hard look at the roster and whether or not you let Vlade make those types of moves in the decision you're going, because look, we could very well, I don't think it would shock anybody to see Vlade out of the general manager position come this time in the summertime.
Really?
If they don't make the playoffs. I mean, look, would it be that far-fetched? I know the guy just got an extension this past offseason, but general managers don't make what coaches make. You're not talking about a whole heap load of money there. Mm-hmm. You obviously have Joe Dumars, who's helping this front office now. Vlade has been in control for a while now, and they identified this past offseason as when they were going to make a splash in. Now, granted, they got Harrison Barnes, and they had made him a priority. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying that Vlade's job is in jeopardy, but everybody is going to be up for review.
Sure.
And it wouldn't be that far-fetched if this team falls short of the playoffs that maybe Vlade has moved on to a different position or a different general manager comes in. I think those types of that type of chatter will persist as the season goes on. If they make the playoffs, hopefully that goes away and everything's hunky-dory. If it doesn't, the chatter gets louder.
Yeah, I mean, the way the Kings have been playing in, 10 of their last 12 games, as we've seen, they're not a playoff team.
Right.
And like we said, surprisingly, they're still on the cusp of getting there, but they've got the Magic coming here. They've got Luka and the Mavericks coming here. Oh, my goodness, that energy in this building.
You know what's interesting, too? I know Kings fans look at Luka as the one that got away. Some do anyway, especially with Marvin's injury history so far, but not that this really matters. I just find it kind of interesting. Things that make me go, Luka's never beat the Kings.
Well, look at that, folks.
It's just one of those odd, quirky things.
Sure.
So, he's a star. I can't wait to see him play. I love watching him play.
Yeah. I saw him in Phoenix against the Suns, and he didn't drop 50 points on them, but he was impressive. I mean,
was he and Kristaps Porzingis still getting along?
Kristaps didn't score any points that game, I'm pretty sure.
Not.
Yeah, they were not. It was during KP's rough patch. But you mentioned you dropped a couple fun nuggets, Sean. I'm going to drop one on you.
I'm not insinuating that Vlade will get fired. I'm just saying, nor should I'm just saying chatter.
Brace
people
yourself.
Will say.
Yeah, people are saying. I mean, that's the thing. That's a part of the criticism that we've seen on social media.
Right.
Kings fans are tired of hearing to be patient, that they're working on, getting better every game. And
13 years, Lina. You haven't been in the upper echelon of the league in 13 years.
Well,
the top half.
Yeah, well, we're going to see, no matter how the Kings are playing, if they make the playoffs or not, fans are out here, they're on the court, they're excited, they're going to welcome them on the floor here. But not only are the Bucks here tonight, which is a huge draw for the crowd here, but if you're into music, rapping, maybe even skateboarding, there's a well-known artist by the name of Lupe Fiasco in the building.
Yeah.
He will be performing during halftime, and you had a chance to kind of sit in on a very special Q&A meet and greet with some local kids here.
And in all fairness, he's one of my favorite artists, and it is weird, but it was great. He's a self-professed rap nerd. I think is appropriate. Loves talking to youth, and had some really strong messages to some of these kids who are writers, aspiring artists, but also rappers as well. And he's got a big presence. It's been a decade. I mean, you were talking about it on social media that when his Kick Push record was big in Food and Liquor, which he's now touring on again, 13 years later, Kings were a playoff team, and they haven't made it. So I can't wait. I don't know that it's I think for him it's just a gearing up toward his new tour, but I can't wait to see him. I mean, they've had a lot of artists in here. This is probably the one I'm looking most forward to. Yeah, they've had a pretty impressive lineup of artists to come and perform in the arena, outside the arena. I mean, Lil Jon's been here several times. Yeah. Sweetie of Sacramento, she's Sacramento native, Bay Area native. You might have heard her song over the summer on the radio once or twice. Every 5 minutes. Yeah, but it's very exciting. And like you mentioned, the Kings haven't made the playoffs since Lupe Fiasco dropped his first single. And fun fact is, the day that he released Kick Push, which became his huge blow-up single, the Kings beat the Seattle Supersonics. So it's been that long since the Thunder NBA basketball was in Seattle. Right, yeah. Crazy. So just a fun little nugget I Googled on the internet earlier this week. Sacramento, I think, is a cool thing for him because they kicked off the Glow in the Dark tour. Kanye, Rihanna, NERD, and him. And when he took the stage, and I was at that show, the entire building was sold out at Arco Arena. For an opener. For an opener to that bill, which I actually have the poster of, because that tour was so great. Yeah. I think you said you saw it. I saw it. You saw it with Kelly Clarkson. Well, right? No. That was Jay-Z and Kelly Clarkson. Okay. And Third Eye Blind and the Veronicas. Yeah. But I did see that Glow in the Dark tour. There was no Rihanna, but I saw it in Tucson, actually, at the McHale Center. And it was... I mean, before Kanye was Kanye, just fresh off graduation, it was incredible. And Lupe Fiasco. Well, back when Kanye was Kanye. Back when, he was not holding Sunday service every week. But, Lupe Fiasco sure to put on a great show. Let's hope that the Kings and the Bucks do the same. I mean, you got Giannis Antetokounmpo in the building. Oh, boy. And, I mean, you've got a whole contingent of, Green over here. Yeah. The Greek Orthodox Church is performing the national anthem, so I don't know if maybe that's a play. Where does he rank for you? Best player in the league or no? I wouldn't say he's the best. He's up there. I still think LeBron is the best player in the league, but I mean, in terms of when the changing of the guard happens, it's gotta be Giannis. I feel like it's already happened, but I mean, look, LeBron's incredible. I just feel that I kind of feel like he's got it. I mean, Giannis is the future of the NBA, and unbelievable. What an unbelievable talent. And what a great personality. I mean, his story, him and his brothers, I mean, you can't write that kind of NBA storyline. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I love the WWE stuff that they do before they take the floor. Brings up the Cobra with his hand, and really it's Robin Lopez that takes the brunt of it all. Yeah. Poor guy. Yeah. Oh gosh, the Lopez brothers, they're great. And with the Bucks coming to town, that also means a homecoming for Capital Christian High School product. Sacramento native DJ Wilson played at Michigan for some time. He's been with the Bucks. We saw him in action at Summer League in Las Vegas the last couple seasons. He looked good too. Yeah, absolutely. So we might even see him getting some playing time depending on how the Bucks handle the Kings tonight. And the return of George Hill. Absolutely. Yeah. The return of George Hill. He was Kings fans remember him. They didn't like him very much. They didn't. He got paid a lot of money to come and play and head to Cleveland. Highest paid King ever at one time. That's amazing. It never happened. That's crazy. Well, it's sure to be a good show tonight. I'm going to go with Bucks by... I'll say the Kings battle back from a double-digit deficit, but still lose by 8. 8? Yeah. I'll take the over and say that the Bucks win by 12. Okay. But I think it's going to be competitive. I wonder, I know Giannis has had a little bit of a lower back. I wonder if they look to try to rest him a little bit. I don't know. Mike Budenholzer doesn't believe in a lot of rest, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, in this Kings team, again, they've been playing shorthanded since the season opener, but they have found ways to win. They've found ways to come back from deficits. More often than not, they're on the losing side of that comeback still, but they're competing. They're not rolling over. They're still finding a way to kind of get better. As you put them in the top three in the league? The Bucks? Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's both LA teams, the Bucks, and then a bit of a gap between them. There's a bit of a fall. Yeah. Yeah. Then the Nuggets, the Raptors are still hanging in.
But, I mean, it seems like those three teams, what's
Right.
going on down south, and then what's going on in Milwaukee is what we're going to be talking about in April.
Right.
So, there you have it, folks.
There you go.
Well, be sure, if you haven't already subscribed, if you're watching this on the ABC 10 YouTube channel, we have a whole new platform for more stuff like this, more sports content. It's called Hella Sports. With that name, we're obviously NorCal-centric, but we do talk about more national storylines. We got some UFC coverage. Really cool story Sean did with Andre Feely, who will be fighting in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, next weekend.
Next weekend. So go check that out. It's awesome. I mean, he's shredding and singing and rapping, and it's a great, great story.
And he's on free TV for that pay-per-view card. So
well, there you go.
We got, Donald Cerrone and Conor McGregor headlining it all. He'll be on the free part of the ESPN portion. Check it out. He's a very fun, entertaining fighter.
Absolutely. So, Hella Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Of course, Sean Cunningham on Twitter and Instagram. L Washington TV on the same platforms. We're getting ready for tip-off here with the Kings and the Bucks. We'll see you back here next time for some Kings Talk.